Welcome to the Old Pine Road Podcast.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Old Pine Road Podcast, featuring me, David Walters, and of course my longtime friend and companion, Max Wyrock, on the mandolin. I'm gonna apologize right away for the delay. We've been pretty busy. We actually did record an episode a month ago, but it just, it wasn't what we hoped it would be. So that episode actually got buried. It might be released someday as like a weird, just like a bit of our history,
We do hold ourselves to
the lost reels,
to a certain standard
yeah,
with the stuff that we give our loyal viewers.
Yeah, I appreciate that insight, Max Wyrock. But either way, the time in between the podcasts just too long, and we have missed you. Hoping that the time away is just going to give us a lot, more to talk about. Because honestly, you run out real quick. I think that's what you find out a couple episodes in. It's harder to ramble when you've been rambling for the last, 4 hours. Right, Max?
That's absolutely true. Rambling, You run out.
Yeah, you run out. You ramble on too long, and then you ramble off.
Rambled off.
And that is our catchphrase of the week. Ramble off. Trademark patented by Old Pine Road Band Incorporated Enterprises. Nonprofit, LLC.
Mark.
Max, I know you've been chomping at the bit to do some mandolin playing, because that is what you do. Did you want to, do a little thing for the fans here?
Well, thanks, David. And it is what I do. I'm always just going around playing my mandolin and writing songs for girls.
They don't call you Mandolin Max for nothing.
Mandolin Max.
No matter how many times you ask them to, they just don't call you that.
No, they don't. I keep saying, call me Max or I'm going to keep playing.
Oh, there's that traditional Max Wyrock mandolin sound.
It's the mask.
Ooh. Is that Skinnerd?
It's not Skinnerd.
Like
it's
Zeppelin?
An old bluegrass duo you don't know.
Sonny and Cher?
Tugs and Arbuckle.
Tugs and Arbuckle. Oh, yeah.
No.
I saw him on the Fatty Henderson show. The Fatty Henderson show.
The Fatty, yeah.
Yep. Back in the 20s, used to be this guy named Fatty Henderson that had a show.
You know what the darndest thing?
Yeah, I do.
It was just his radio name, and he could play whatever character he wanted because that man wasn't even a big fat guy.
No, wasn't even a guy.
In real life, they called him String Bean, probably.
It's me. Yeah, you ever meet a radio personality, that you've listened to for a big portion of your life, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like, this isn't what I imagined at all.
No.
It happens a lot with just people in general, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Sometimes. At this point, I think it's time that I come clean. It is time. No, I know. It's hard. You probably just like you're walking in his shoes and you're flying too close to the sun. You don't want to let it go.
Say something, Bruce. Batman.
Shh, don't say anything. You're not under oath. I think it's time. I have to admit it. Max has fled the country to Puerto Rico. Fled the Old Pine Road Band. Left us all alone. He says he's going to come back in a short amount of time, but I have no reason to believe that. And in his absence, I tried to find just somebody that ended up being nothing more than a cheap imitation of the real thing. Just a knockoff, horrible thing.
More than you could afford.
I feel so dirty. So at this point, you've been in that mask for like 15 minutes. I can't imagine what a hot mess it is in there. Let's go ahead and welcome my good friend, Mr. Matt Person.
It's me.
Matt!
Hey!
I'm going to apologize in advance for me accidentally referring to you as Max several times over the upcoming 45 minutes to an hour.
People call me Max all the time.
Yeah, it's not right. It's wrong.
I think I mumble is the problem. But yeah, go.
I mean, they're just there, Max, Matt. You know, just language speaking, they probably originate from the same name back in the day. They're probably just a deviation of the same, meh. Like the cavemen, meh.
Max really is just Matt with a lisp.
Yeah, it really is. It's the same thing. So they're interchangeable. So I will be just interchanging them.
It's understood, David.
But Matt, I'm super grateful that you're here. Matt is a government employee, a government employee, and I'm not going to say anything more about it.
You can't, in fact. So there's
Please
nothing
don't
else to
please
say
don't
about
kill me
it.
for what I did say. Please, I'm sorry for saying too much already.
Government is a good blanket.
Yeah, he's a government employee. And that's all. That wasn't even his real name, probably. Mac. It's probably
Who's to
Mac.
say? Yeah, Mac.
Or Map. Like that kid that used to hang out with Dora.
Yeah, Map. He used to sing songs. He was a funny piece of paper.
I've been waiting years to throw those Dora the Explorer jokes out there. I used to have to watch it with Cadence, that was peak.
Sure.
Peak Dora the whatever you
Explorer.
call it. Oh my God.
Uh-huh. David, stop singing.
Still can't speak a word of Spanish. Matt and I went to school together. We played football together.
Yeah, sort of. In eighth
Good
grade. I was seventh.
grade.
I was. You scared the bejesus out of me.
I had a lot of pain, a lot of anger.
There was a lot of pain behind those piercing baby blues.
Bobby Boucher was a major inspiration for not even just like football, but every aspect of my life.
Every aspect.
Yeah, that was
Mama say.
Football was fun. So I was in 8th grade. Or were you in 8th grade?
You were 8th grade.
I was 8th grade. That was when I went to the charter school.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, the school. So I was.
You took a bus to practice.
Oh my! It was such a my educational experience was such a mess. My mom, I remember, she pulled me out of school in 5th grade to try to homeschool me, and that lasted about a month before she sent me back to school. So that was great. And then
Is she qualified in any way to?
Oh yeah, she's a school bus driver. So
Okay.
basically the same thing as like a teacher, interchangeable. Love you, Mom. So yeah, that lasted about a month. And then in middle school, I was just like, school just wasn't my bag. I had like the whole ADHD, fidgety, just wasn't having a good time type thing. And so 8th grade, they're at their wits' end, don't know what to do, can't homeschool me. So the charter school opened up in Rhinelander. It was the very first year it was ever opened. Had never, been one up here before. And it was in the same building that I went to kindergarten in. So I'd been in that school before. So it was like I went from middle school back to kindergarten. No, it was the South Park building, one over by Triggs. Yeah, yep. And the very first year they were open, that's actually where who else went there? Bob Wygant, the mandolin player for Dig Deep. He went to school there that year. I remember him and a lot of the older kids would bring their guitars and stuff to school because it was like you hung out with all the different grades, like all the different homerooms. You were grades, must have been middle school through high school. You know, so here I am, an 8th grader in class with all these like older kids, and they're all like, it's all troubled kids. It's all kids who are not doing well in the traditional school format, and so their parents are trying something, you know. So like everybody is just smoking, and you can sign yourself out of school. You could sign yourself out. So me and my buddy caught on to that, and we're 2 8th graders that find out you could sign yourself out of school. And we would just sign ourselves out like, oh, we're going to go to the library, and we'd bring a football, and we'd go to
yeah,
a little
of course.
side street just in the middle of the day chucking a ball. It was great. The freedom was great. And there was some really cool parts.
An important part of any curriculum is the ability to do what you want.
There was some benefit to that, and things that I did genuinely learn from, and you know, God bless those teachers, because, you know, they just went their very first year, like to have that span of ages all in the same room and trying to like guide, you know, the way that charter school works is you create the curriculum to fulfill the credit requirements. You know, so like, you know, in a traditional school, the teacher creates that curriculum and you do the assignments to meet those criteria. And in a charter school, you, the student, and your teacher are supposed to come up with that. So like, I don't know the shit anyways, and now I have to like write a curriculum for how to learn it.
Right, how to learn.
It was dumb stuff too. Like, what was the one project I did? We did movie reviews. Yeah. My buddy and I were like, it was for like, you know, language arts or something like that. We did movie reviews. So we spent a day watching the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Which
on
is
like a little VHS player.
The best Muppets movie and the best Christmas Carol movie.
Oh, amen. Yeah. Oh, great movie. Okay. Great movie. And so there is like an hour-long video of me somewhere in 8th grade doing a review of the Muppets Christmas Carol movie with my buddy Jake Paquette, the same guy that I would go skip school with to play football.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my 8th grade experience.
So you're just sitting at a desk reading a review with the camera on?
I mean, yeah, if that. Yeah, I remember we had to like write a paper about it and what we thought, and like there was no depth to it. Like, you know, it's not like we were looking at like themes or, you know, historical context. No,
down.
It was literally just like Muppets are funny.
I like Animal.
It was bad. We had what other? I can't remember what other classes we did. I did have a cool teacher there who got me into some cool reading, you know. So there was that was nice for like a year. Like I've always been like a ravenous reader, and so like that was something I could always if I wasn't out playing football, I was at least reading. So it's not like it was a year lost, but it was definitely a year.
It was a year.
It was a year. Yeah. And then football. And then we played football. Right. I was trying to think why I was talking about charter school.
Did we play football? How we
good
played.
Good times. Those were good times. Yeah. And then high school is just a walking nightmare.
It was okay. Yeah.
It was yeah.
We would have had a class together at some point, probably for a debate, which I was able to take freshman year.
I didn't join debate until my junior year.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so you would have had to have.
Or if I did
debated.
Sophomore, we probably weren't.
Debate was great. I credit debate with like being like the turning point in my personal development, because like school was up to that point had always been something that like oh my god, I was the worst student. Just the historical like F's, D's, like C's, and not because like, you know, I had good test scores and whatnot, but just homework was not my thing. And in my defense, we lived like a half hour away from the school. My mom was the bus driver, and so like we had to wake up and pick up. We were the very first ones on the bus and the very last ones off the bus every single day. Every single day. Yes, yeah. And then when I was in football, I'd go in early to go work out, so I'd get up before that. So like every day I was I was just done with school. When school was over, I was just done with school. Like, I had had enough. I wanted to go get in the woods. I wanted to go play my guitar. I wanted to go do something that, like, stimulated and, you know, I enjoyed.
Yep.
So my grades were just always, you know, pretty abysmal.
When did guitar show up then?
Guitar showed up pretty early. You know, some of my first memories of like seeing guitar players or people that I knew, one of them was Dave Dahl.
Oh yeah,
Did you ever see Dave Dahl growing up?
I believe so.
Okay, for our listeners,
We've got his CDs.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I would love to hear one of those because I've seen him a couple times. Cadence, I've taken her to see him once or twice. Mm-hmm. For our listeners who don't know, Dave Dahl was a local teacher, I think.
Yep.
So I knew him from like summer school. I don't think I ever had like a class of his or anything, but I remember I was in summer school because I was doing terrible in normal school. And he showed up to the summer school and brought his guitar. And his guitar, I remember, had the big googly eyes on it. And it had the hair like... and he just did a little act, and that was awesome. That was blew my mind. And then growing up in a church setting, like, you know, there was always a couple people that played guitar. So I remember asking for one, I think in 6th grade, like that Christmas, 5th or 6th grade.
Yeah, that's pretty early.
Yeah. And I taught myself. That was before internet. Mm-hmm. And we were out in the boonies.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't before internet, but we were out in...
So you weren't printing tabs off when you were in town?
I didn't get access to tabs until probably like high school.
Okay.
Because like I didn't. We had dial up, but it was like it was early and we were rural. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Lived out in the country, and so it just the Hal Leonard Guitar Method book.
Yeah.
Which I might, got one right here. It's probably not the one, but I think, my mom wandered into the local music store.
Shout out Hal Leonard, looking for someone to sponsor.
Really desperately need someone to sponsor, actually. This is really make or break at this point.
Yeah.
We're begging.
It's abysmal down there. There's
Listen, we're
the
not
cabinets
gonna be
are
able to
covered
keep
in
producing
dust.
episodes at this pace. If we can't get...
The boy is hungry.
I'm withering away. It is a great book, and that's what I started playing guitar out of, and then some folks that I went to church with showed me some other stuff, and that was it. Had people tell me, you can't make a living with that, and I was like, all right, I believe that, and I went to work in retail and like some low level like construction drywall type stuff. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I can't make a living with this either. So I'm going to go not make a living with something that stimulates me a little more. And I've been not making a living with it for quite a while now. And Hal Leonard Guitar Method, book 1.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. But yeah, that was high school and middle school. And Matt also plays guitar. When did you start playing guitar?
So my junior year of high school, I spent abroad in Chile. Chile, as they say.
Chile.
And I had a host cousin there who was still is a very good guitar player, and he started teaching. He showed me a little bit, and I taught myself some there.
Was it like a nylon?
He had a
steel
string acoustic.
That's probably presumptive of me to think that all South American guitar players are using nylon, but
they have most of the things. They don't have peanut butter.
Really?
Which was a problem.
There's no peanut butter down there.
Nope. Or root beer. Those are the two big ones that I noticed.
Why is that?
Because I like peanut butter and root beer.
But why the lack of those products? Just not a market?
No market.
Nobody making it?
I don't know if it's that someone tried to give it to them and they didn't like it, or if they just never got the chance.
Sounds like you're describing a potentially lucrative economic opportunity to provide peanut butter on a mass scale to South American countries.
And I am working on an exporting.
I thought you said exploitation.
Nope. No. Starting an exploitation business. We're looking at expanding over to Thailand.
We're selling peanut butter and root beer by the barrel.
By the barrel. Yep, just getting all these.
Is it any good?
All these people hooked on it.
Start the peanut butter wars.
The peanut butter wars.
Overthrow some third world governments. Good stuff. All
they
right.
call me General Peter Pan. All right.
You spent a year abroad in Chile. What was one of, other than the guitar, one of your most memorable experiences from that trip?
I wouldn't call it a trip. I lived there for a year.
Yeah, your short vacation.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man.
What do you think, Batman?
You want to hear a story?
I would love to.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
can tell
we're
a
here.
story.
That's what we're here. Yeah. As long as it's PG.
So I got there. Okay. Not true.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I must have gotten there in middle of August, and then September 18th. That's their Independence Day, at the 18, and practically the whole country takes off a week, and they get fucked up
Just a huge
as a
party.
family. And
That's cool.
so I'm coming from where I was raised. Probably like at Thanksgiving, I would see an uncle get kind of red faced, but my dad maybe drank a 6-pack in a year so I never had any exposure to drunk people. Pretty sheltered, to be honest.
Relatively,
I really didn't.
very unique experience, unique upbringing for Wisconsin.
Northern Wisconsin?
Yeah.
And so I was down there. We went out to the family's compound out in the country there. And the whole extended I think there were like 26 of us staying at this cottage.
Holy cow.
For several days. And my host cousins and aunts and uncles, and grandma was there. Probably some babies. But so it was fun. And then all of a sudden, all these adults around me are
Just
shit-faced.
absolutely hammered.
They're out of it. And
What was like the drink of choice, dude?
the big, mostly pisco. That's pretty much in Peru and Chile.
Okay.
Where you can get pisco. It's a brandy kind of thing. But
Okay.
that was the big one. But they had rum and then we also this thing called chicha.
Okay,
That's
that
just
sounds delicious.
it's almost a.
It also sounds provocative.
It's almost of a
some of that
sangria, but
chicha.
liquor instead of wine.
Okay.
Like there's fruit in it, and it's incredibly high content, but you're
Yeah.
shooting it,
Just-
so it messes you up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And of course, they were also having me drink with them, and
Oh, yeah.
I mean everyone was, and that was cool. I was terrified. This whole situation scared
Had you
the
ever
Jesus
been
out
like
of
drunk
me.
before?
No.
Oh, so you're
I
in
never
like
got
a foreign
invited to
country,
a party.
Never done anything like this,
Nope.
and you're just getting wasted.
And not so much. I mean, I was taking it pretty easy.
Oh,
but
okay,
but
okay.
I'm still just seeing this all around me. Here's
Okay.
my host mom, the sweetest woman in the world, and the person who's going to protect me. And she was sitting in a lawn chair and just busting up laughing. And at some point she passed out there. And they taped her to it with duct tape, and they put duct tape around her mouth. Anyway, I'm inside playing cards later, and she comes walking in. She's just howling with laughter. Everyone is. She had. She crapped him. Like, I need a new host family. What is happening?
Experience. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was basically
One
the
of a-
first
I've-
time I was at a
Lifelong memory right
That's good.
there. It is interesting. I mean, Max is gone. Max also did a year abroad.
Yeah, I heard
in
that.
Germany.
It's Germany.
Yeah. For our listeners at home, there's some backstory between you and Max that we didn't address and we're not going to dive into. I don't know if I would describe it as animosity or just like outright hatred or disrespect between the two of you, or if it's, just all a facade. I don't know. Depends who you ask, what time of day, how you ask.
Max who? And
that, does get kind of down to the root of your guys' relationship and what that looks like. I'm curious what his reaction is going to be to me, having you pretend to be him. That might infuriate him.
Does he know that I'm here?
I couldn't tell him if I wanted to. Because I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No. No, I don't think he'd like it one bit.
He doesn't trust you, does he?
He doesn't like coming to Rhinelander sometimes because he knows you live here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Government employee.
I'll show up in point sometime. Something's wrong.
Ember! Get over here! No. It would be really cool to have you two debate who had the better year abroad experience.
That would be good.
And we do it like an actual debate.
I would be curious what organization he went abroad with, and then we'd have a real debate. Potentially.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or it would forge our brotherhood.
I didn't do a year abroad. I did a significant amount of time in school suspension.
What'd you learn there? What was the most memorable thing in ISS?
How to smuggle your PSP into ISS so that you can watch Borat and play the Warriors. That was
Warriors?
The game. Yeah. Did you ever play the PlayStation Warriors game?
I had a DS.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. My family loved me, so I had a PS.
My parents were very well intentioned.
It's funny. I don't know if it's funny. I shouldn't preface anything with it's funny because I don't know.
I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, exactly. What a pretentious dick I am. Anyways, my mom and dad, I remember at a young age begging them for a Game Boy. I had like some secondhand ones that my cousin didn't play with anymore. She was older that I got.
Big brick one.
I didn't even get that. I got one of the minis, like an old silver one that I wish I still had because that thing's probably, it's worth something someday. But anyways, yeah, I had just like the really old versions of them. And that was when the color ones and stuff were coming out. And I'm playing on like, the very first like green screen looking ones. And so I begged my mom and dad. And I got, it must have been for my birthday, a Nintendo. Not the DS. God, what was the Game Boy Advance?
Game Boy Advance?
Yeah, yes. Yes. Begged for it. Got it. Super stoked. Had it for like a month, and church camp came up. And I really wanted to bring it to church camp. My mom's like, you cannot pack it. You're going to lose it or you're going to break it. You cannot bring it to church camp. And I'm like, okay.
Totally.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't... So I did. I sneak it into my duffel bag. And I don't even make it to church camp before I smash the fucking screen on the thing. And to this day, I feel my gut drop. Because it was like so, like, the lesson, now looking back in retrospect, the lesson I learned was probably way more valuable than any Game Boy my parents could have given me. But goddamn, was it a lesson?
Oh, no.
It was, I had to go through the rest of church camp with my busted Game Boy, just like, I can't tell my mom about this.
You don't want anyone to find out it's still stowed away up there.
Oh man, it was so, that was a painful experience.
Yeah.
That was my Game Boy experience, and and then my PSP. I don't know what we were talking about. I forgot. Let's fast forward a little bit. We did ultimately get out of school and grow up.
We're still doing the story of us.
We go back, we get together, just go back to the good old days. Chug this whole LaCroix. I'm at the piece of it.
Yeah.
You do some other really cool things other than your top secret work as a government employee for an unnamed government agency. You also occasionally help host Crossroads Cafe on WXBR.
Very close.
You've got some good episodes. I like listening to them.
Well, I'd like to point out that it's Northwoods, not the Crossroads.
It's not. Oh, that's right. The Northwoods Cafe. The Crossroads Cafe is the
1 to 4
NPR.
afternoon.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I apologize for that. Northwoods Cafe.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm not that sorry either. That was more just like.
Not yet. You aren't.
Yeah.
I don't have a schedule. Whatever. I'm not on the schedule. I'm the fill-in guy.
Yeah.
So
you do a great job. I always
Thanks.
listen when I can. You were talking about needing like a DJ name, and
Yeah, I do.
is it called a DJ? Would a radio DJ?
Yeah.
Somebody told me because I was calling them DJ something. They're like, well, it's not DJ anymore. It's Paul. What do you call it? A karaoke DJ is called a what the hell they call it? Not a VJ. For some reason, my mind is saying up a J. Up a J. But a karaoke host has like a different name. You don't call them DJ. They're, all the karaoke hosts I know are called DJ, but he called it something else. And, maybe it's just a Paul thing. And really
Call him
clever,
the guy
but,
with the laptop.
Yeah. Anyways, you were saying you need a DJ name.
Yeah, so I've never used one. I had to give them one in order to use the thing that keeps track of the songs you're playing and puts it on the CD.
Sure.
So you need to have the name. So whenever I'm on the air, it shows Scruffy McPherson. That's the name it shows.
That's your DJ name?
That's according to the program. But I've never used that name, and I've never said my name's Max. Matt.
Like old 70s soft rock.
Yeah.
Thinking like some Loggins.
Loggins.
Kenny Loggins.
That's mostly what it is. Yeah, I never used the name, and I did that intentionally because it's like, you can't know anything about my government job. Why should you get to know anything about me as a person on the radio?
Yeah.
I'm here to play music. I'm here to spin the Loggins.
I mean, so are you looking for a moniker? Because Scruffy McPherson, that could be your mechanic. That could be anything.
It could.
Or are you looking for something that's a little bit more, a little more
Sticky?
glamorous?
Oh, more glamorous.
A little bit more like,
Yeah. Well, I found out recently that Wolfman is taken.
What?
Yeah, you can't be the Wolfman.
Is Spider-Man taken yet?
I don't know.
DJ Spider-Man, that sounds hot. The branding's already out there.
Yeah.
DJ Spider-Man, he DJs whatever he can. Can he read? Can he write? No, but he can play some music tonight.
He can sort of read also.
he can read.
He's literate. So another DJ called last time I was on. He's like, man, you got to say your name more often.
I have the same gripe. You don't say your name, and you talk very lightly, which is lame because you do have a good voice and banter. You got a voice for radio, but you do. You have a good. That's why I invited you today when Max fled the country.
Yeah. And again, prayers up for Max.
Prayers to Puerto Rico.
And also hashtag bring Max home.
We need to start a campaign.
Yeah. Somebody get a bunch of paper towels down there for Max.
If anybody is genuinely concerned, he is on vacation and having a wonderful time, as far as I know. But I still don't forgive him for
not for long.
Leaving. We're gonna send our listeners.
We're gonna swat him in a resort. That'd be fun.
This week's code word, by the way, is "Bring Max Home."
Bring Max home.
Just if you share the video link from this with the code Bring Max Home, you'll get an Old Pine Road Band sticker, a custom one. I'm cooking up a batch of stickers for this summer.
Yeah.
There's some cool ones, including I'll give a little hint. The Max Squatch.
Oh, okay.
Max Squatch is
that a photo I've seen before?
It is a photo you've seen before. It is deep Old Pine Road Band lore. It has never been seen in a public setting.
It's horrifying.
And it will stick with people. It's going to be on a sticker. And it's going to say, I survived the Max Squatch. It is iconic. It is very memorable. And I'll tell you right now, if you share this post in the video or whatever format, I don't care. Just share it. And just got to put in the comment, Bring Max Home. # Bring Max Home. You're going to get your very own Max Squatch limited edition holographic collector's edition signed sticker with my bathwater. a cup of old bathwater.
We put on there, don't drink it.
But we know you will.
We know. Not for consumption. Yeah, I'm going to look at it. Okay.
It's good stuff. So your DJ name, that would be a nice thing as well if anybody's listening. If you have a suggestion for Matt's DJ name.
Let me say this.
Is this a cigarette burn right here? What the hell?
I didn't do it. Somebody called in, a listener called in with some ideas for me, actually.
Yeah.
I said that on the air. Help me.
Right now, Scruffy McPherson.
I'm the fill-in guy.
What did he call in with?
He called in with things like, he said, Guy Phillips, alternatively Guy Fill-ins.
Oh,
I like that.
That is pretty good.
I think that's
Guy
pretty fun.
Fill-ins. Filling in today is Guy Fill-ins.
Filling in today, I'm Guy Fill. Yeah.
I've always liked Boogie.
Boogie?
Yeah, I think Boogie Jones.
Yeah.
Hey, it's your host Boogie Jones here, bringing you soft contemporary jazz. Boogie Jones bringing you Tibetan throat
and
singing.
the entire time just like... No, I'm not a dancer. Why?
Anyways, Boogie. Another thing that you do through your government job, unnamed government agency, and in conjunction with WXPR, and in conjunction with the River Street Studio, which we are currently inhabiting,
Right here.
and in conjunction with the Old Pine Road Band.
Yeah.
Which is also in conjunction with Max Wyrock, because he also worked on this project.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
He did.
Yeah.
You also released the podcast If These Woods Could Talk, which if
did.
anybody's listening, they've probably seen me share stuff about it on our Facebook page. It's a podcast that Matt hosts and arranges for WXPR in the library, and it features interviews and recordings with different Northwoods legends and figures, such as the legendary Butch Maddock, who was and is. I
Still is.
He still is a prominent guitar player in the Northwoods community. And the podcast is really cool, Matt. I've listened to them all. I love them all. Some more than others. I'm not going to say it. No.
Yeah.
But it's a very cool premise. You're just catching the unique parts of history, and there's always like the focus on the like headline events, the story of the Hodag,
That tornado.
the tornado, that girl who killed her parents. Like, it's always on all the attention's on the big headline stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see, the effort into catching some of those stories that would otherwise, slip through the cracks and into the annals of time. Is it annals?
The what?
Annals? Is it ANNALS? Is it pronounced annals?
It's annals.
All right. It's always one of those words that I read it in my mind. I'm like,
It's
What the
true.
hell is an annals? I don't know what it is. I use that word and I don't know. What is an annal?
No. That's a word that has one context. It's used exclusively.
So is it a unit of measurement though? Annals of time? Like annals? What is
I
it?
always assumed that it meant like a corridor. I don't know what that means. That was always I envisioned.
Hey Google,
like
what is an annal?
Excuse me.
According to Wikipedia, animals are multi-sensory.
According to Wikipedia, animals. She can't. We gotta get an assistant. We gotta get somebody. Joe Rogan doesn't use Google.
Jamie, pull that up.
Jimmy Bowen. She's still going.
She's still talking.
Hey Google, cut it out. She's still running. Oh my god.
Anyway, yeah, we're going pretty deep into the animals of history. No.
Run that back. Yeah, If These Woods Could Talk is wonderful, and you're doing a great job with it.
Thanks for listening. You have been a great supporter on
We've been a supporter and a collaborator.
and let me say this, because David, I just hope that If These Woods Can Talk, the podcast, can live up to the theme song that we've got. Honestly, you killed it, David. Old Pine Road Band did a theme song for us, put a lot of hours into it, and it really, I'd never envisioned a song with lyrics for it. I just wanted a bluegrassy kind of thing, and David wrote words that really sum up. We wouldn't need an introduction to the show, because you put it in there in a way that isn't fucking tacky.
It's a little tacky, but I think it's in a palatable, fun
but
way.
it's fun,
Yeah.
and it sounds
I appreciate
great. We
that.
really appreciate it. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Everyone says
imagining
so.
like a little bit of Andy Griffith, like, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And Max did great.
Max did the
haunting
whistling
whistles.
on that. Max does the whistle on If These Woods Could Talk. So if you listen to the podcast, which you can find it at wxpr.org.
Yep, under the podcast tab, the Community Podcast Project, and
If These Woods Could Talk, you can also find it is it on the library's website?
we've got an informational page, but you can find it. It's on podcast platforms, Spotify, Amazon. You can find
Spotify
it.
and Amazon, If These Woods Could Talk. Have you made like a Facebook page or anything for it?
We decided against making a Facebook page. I am working on getting a forum up on our website so that people can talk about it.
So could the district library maybe even just start like a community forum page or a sub page through the library?
That's what I'm talking about. Trying to make a forum for it.
Cool. Because that's a
We have
good
a
way to keep
WordPress
people
website,
posted.
so I'm trying to learn how to do the thing, but it'll come.
Yeah. You know, it is 2000. Somebody was talking about it. We have an analog government in a digital world.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very true. But If These Woods Could Talk, very, very much worth a listen. And it was cool. It was cool to write that song. It's fun to write with like an intention, you know, it's a cool exercise.
Well, and then you guys recorded a full-length version of the song, right?
There is, yeah.
And
so
is that
we
gonna be
like
on?
the song so much. It's up in the air.
Okay.
It's a maybe. It'll be released in some capacity at some point, possibly on the next album, maybe not. But yes, there is a second verse that gets even more. What was the word? Tacky?
Well, that was the word. I think maybe hoaxy is the
Hokey,
word.
yeah, hokey.
Hokey and folksy. Yeah.
But it is. It's a fun, catchy tune. A lot of people, I think that I show that's one of the ones that it's an earworm a little bit.
Yeah.
The melody, I think, is a fun song.
Have you performed that or anything from the album? You have? Okay.
Little sneak peeks here and there.
Yeah.
To deserving, crowds.
Deserving crowds.
No, we've been sneaking some stuff in. Summer's coming up, and we're really trying to reinvent the wheel a little bit for it. Like every year, I think a lot of bands, when they first form, have the intention of being like more of an original band, when I started Old Pine Road Band, it was quite the opposite. Like, I was trying to fill, like, you know, a need for bar cover bands, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's what it was. It was a bar cover band thing, you know, there to do the sing-along songs and stuff. And we definitely still, like, do that and enjoy that element of it. I'm not knocking that because I love and enjoy that. But the originals, like, there was no originals for years in the set whatsoever. And then probably in the last 3 years, we've really been upping, you know, the original content in there. And now it's to a point where, depending where you see us at, like, this, you know, sometimes you can get the full 3-hour set of all originals, and that's
pretty wild.
Yeah, it's a fun show, and you know, that's been a cool transition, and it's way more rewarding. Not that, you know, what we have done before isn't rewarding, but for it to be something that, like, you wrote and you put time into, like, seeing that person move their feet a little bit, or, you know, hum along, or even yeah, when somebody knows a song or anything, like, it's pretty mind-blowing that, like, you know. Yeah.
So
my little sister likes one of the songs from the first album.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Nice. Yeah, there was a good one on there. Just
the one.
Yeah.
And I wrote it right there. Hemlocks.
Wow. I was going to ask, though, about the, like, have you considered doing a live album at some point? Have you thought, I don't know what that involves.
Yeah.
Versus doing it.
For sure. Okay. Like, well, we've been kind of talking about this. Like, there's been more work behind our original stuff. We're coming out with our second album this year. We've got that pretty much recorded, and we're just in the final stages of, like, recording, mastering, and mixing. But with that, we're going to come out with a couple of music videos. We're going to start working on the video element, and as we're working through that, a live album is, like, kind of next on that list. You have to have, like, somebody with you running sound for that. You have to have video, and, like, there's more, you know, that goes into it than what we currently have, which if you look for, like, any of our content online right now, it's, like, from years ago. It's all cell phone video from, like, you know, like,
sure.
From, like, a show that, like, we set it up, and so the audio is that quality, and yeah, so we'd love to do the album live and do some stuff. We're thinking we're probably gonna do, well, we're definitely gonna do an album release party, at least one, if not a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've got some spots around with you know, friends, and you know, we could do a couple and have them not be too overlapping. But one of them for sure will be at the Boulder Beer Bar in Boulder Junction, and kind of got some ideas about maybe trying to run a live album there, or try to do the video and stuff for it. So yeah,
cool.
That's on the agenda, with being part of our master plan to increase the video or quality of video content on our certain social media platforms. And I'm gonna keep talking quieter and quieter. Because it feels good to do.
Did OPRP just become an ASMR podcast?
On this week's ASMR podcast. You know, Pink Floyd has an old album, basically, of that.
Wow, what geniuses.
Brilliant. If these woods could talk, we have a couple of notes here. We got, that was good. We kind of just went over the album progress. Open mic was a great time last night. That's a weird segue, I know.
Take your word for it.
Yeah, you haven't come to them.
Is that at the Pea Patch?
A bummer. It is at the Pea Patch, the second Wednesday of every month. This week, Barry was like, you know, it's Valentine's Day. I don't know what kind of turnout I don't know. Are you sure you want to do open mic this week? And it was like, better give her a go.
Yeah.
And it was the most fun open mic I think I've ever done. Like, everybody showed. Almost every person in the bar was a performer.
No way.
And it was like a full bar. It was so fun. That was a cool time. Missed a couple of faces, but very few, and it was awesome.
I don't know if it's cool to ask about like individuals.
Do it. I dare you.
Jared Kay, was he there?
No, he didn't. You know what? And that's one of the few names. That was one of the ones I thought of that he didn't show.
You know,
up.
he just left WXPR.
I heard. Yeah, I did. I bumped into him
job.
at the gas station in Dietz. He's
Did you?
going to be working from home, which is awesome.
Yep.
Jared has been to this open mic before. That's actually, I think, one of the first places I got to get to know Jared a little bit. When I first started it, actually, he was one of the first people that would show up pretty regularly.
Jared Kay's for real. He can play.
Oh, his music is awesome. He does. His originals are just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss seeing him. He's been a busy bee. I wonder now with him working. I actually was thinking about that with him working at home if he could get out there. You know, Nick Montz.
Yeah.
He did the first River Street studio session. Great friend. He hasn't been able to make it to one in a while because he burns it at both ends. He's a busy beaver. And he showed up last night. Walked in. Oh, it was so cool. So like there was a lot of new faces last night, which was cool. And again, I'm going into driving to last night. It was snowing. There was like a little bit of a blizzard. It's Valentine's Day. I'm thinking nobody's gonna be there. No, there was a bunch of new faces, and all of them were great. Everybody that showed up was great. Brian, Eric, Dean, met him last night. It was really cool. All on first name. I don't know. You're gonna have to come if you want to see it. It was cool. But that was a cool one last night. Nick though, who hasn't been there in months, like walked in the middle. I was like, holy shit! Like, it was already like packed and so many cool musicians. Then Nick walked in, and then he had to get going. So he did one song. He did St. James Infirmary and just burnt the whole. It was such because we all jammed with him. We all know that song. Oh, and he just burnt it down and then rolled.
I saw you guys play that
Pretty
one
cool.
with him at the bowl before at the park.
Oh, okay. So you kind of like he does a really good cover of it, and we had the drums going on it. Chris Skinner was playing lead on my guitar, which is really cool. Chris is infamous in the Northwoods for playing the Chapman stick, which is a I can't remember how many strings it has. Oh my god. I know there's a couple, like 12, 16 string. I don't know, but it's like a board of wood with frets, and you play it percussively. You tap your fingers on it.
Okay.
It's hard to discuss, and I've had to do it a lot. Because Chris played with Old Pine Road Band. He still plays with Old Pine Road Band, but he played the Chapman stick a lot with us. Now he is more focused on the harp and the other stuff. But the Chapman stick, he does a solo show and does it with other people and a bunch of other players as well. But really, really cool instrument. But a lot of people know him for that, and I think it's awesome when you get him on the guitar because he's one of the best guitar players in the fucking state. I think he's such a phenomenal guitar player, and he's a phenomenal Chapman stick player too. But it's really cool when he gets to shred some leads. It makes me drool a little bit. So that was fun last night. I got to play some bass and watch my buddy. I just got to slap bass and watch my buddy Nick shred on the vocals, Chris shred on the guitar, Joey it's such a cool time.
Yeah.
And it's a Wednesday night in a snowstorm, and like, oh my God, my friend Jared Hubbard from Medford came last night, drove an hour and a half with his wife to come to open mic in a snowstorm. That was so cool. He told me he's going to listen to this. So thanks, Jared. Hi. Thanks for listening. But he told me that he listened to the first podcast. He had to like drive to town. He didn't have the car, so he took his tractor to town. Because he could only go so many miles per hour.
Right.
He had to listen to the full podcast in the tractor. So hopefully you get to maybe repeat that again. You get to listen to this one.
There you go.
In the tractor. Definitely going to listen to it on the snowmobile. Although some people were snowmobiling today. I did see that. yeah, and there's not much, but
The the Berkey is a week and a half away. It's next
Yeah.
weekend, and they are still doing it.
really,
But a big part of that is going over what's the body of water they cross there? Doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't
They
matter.
they cross the body of water, go down it, and so basically the
Wear a
the
life
course is going to
jacket.
be pretty short. Yes, it's a triathlon now.
There's skis. You just gotta go fast. Just on cross country skis.
But
I gotta skip it.
it's the 50th anniversary actually. And
Oh,
they got,
no.
ruined by God. So
Yeah, what do? You don't get to call the shots.
nope.
It's been what a weird winter. I think that's just everybody. Everybody is just, it feels like a universal state of shock, and rightfully so. We're gonna get through it, guys. And it's gonna sound weird me saying this, but I think in the next coming years we'll probably miss this. I bet it's holding up, and next year is going to be Snowmageddon.
Snowmageddon.
Yeah, I'm knocking on wood. I'm actually going to stop. I need to stop. I've been holding this pencil and tapping on shit, and I'm sorry for everybody at home. But don't worry. Don't worry about the snow. It's going to be, so much snow that I'm going to feel like Scarface up in here.
Yeah. Snow you Swarian.
I hope nobody has to ever hear that again.
All right.
I'll be here all week, whether you want me to or not. I live here.
Boy.
Oi. This has been fun. Honestly, this is better than...
I mean, we were talking before the show about how obviously it was gonna be.
That's, yeah, we were just like, knew this is gonna be
It's
easy.
gonna be like fucking cake.
We did actually have a debate before the show over what was the appropriate amount of time for you to continue pretending B-Max and have it be tasteful.
I thought it couldn't go too much longer than about 3 minutes without me being a bully.
I thought you were gonna pass out in the mask.
Surprisingly roomy, but yeah.
For our listeners at home, the table this week, we're just kind of going off the rails. We got Batman here today. It's Batman.
It's Batman.
Christian Bale's take, definitely.
Definitely is.
Definitely. But no rhyme or reason. I see people do things with way higher quality, and if that's what you're looking for, I'm just going to urge you to go watch that and leave us to our weird antics. Yeah. You don't got to watch. You don't have to. If you don't like what you see,
Guess what?
watch something else on your
Do
phone.
something different.
Yeah, watch something else on your phone. Well, keep this playing, please. I really need this. Please.
Once again, brought to you by Hal Leonard.
Hal Leonard, Guitar Method, Book 1. Learn to play guitar in no time at all. And by guitar, we mean 3 chords.
This is where Slash started. This
Is it?
is where George Michael started. This is where
Usher started.
Usher learned how to roller skate.
It is. I mean, it gets you going on the
This
chords.
guitar
It's got
book.
little pictures. Look at, dude. In no time at all, you could be playing the Sea Shanty, or Snake Charmer, or Spy Riff.
Yeah,
Didn't you ever just want to get a guitar and learn to play Spy Riff?
that's going to be Secret Agent Man, isn't it?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
I mean, it's all good. It's wild, nowadays. Nowadays, the gosh dang app on your phone teach you to play guitar. Play the guitar for you.
There's no art to it anymore. There's no soul.
It's not even guitar anymore.
No.
It's not even guitar anymore. Kids these days got it too easy. We got to go back in time. Gut strings. Or you got to make your own strings out of, like, your pets.
Out of your pants. You gotta go dig up at the graveyard. You gotta go.
Kids
Go
got
find
too
your
easy
own
these
tools.
days. You learn. I'm back in my day. I had to build the guitar.
Out of rib cages.
Funny story.
Yeah.
Max, his final wishes, and we have talked about this and had it notarized and everything. When he dies, he wants his instruments to be deconstructed so that nobody else can play them, and his casket to be built out of his disassembled instruments solely, no other components or pieces. And he plays mandolin, so that's
A lot of mandolins going. He's a tall man.
he's got a guitar too. And a banjo.
And a banjo. That's
Yeah,
all
he
of them.
wants us to build somehow we're gonna have to build a box out of this. And of course we're all gonna outlive him, so it's gonna be on us to do that. Just kidding, man.
Can it be a box for his cremains, or does he
No, he wants to be locked up, I guess.
locked up?
Oh man.
We're gonna put a camera in there with him.
It'd be fun.
No,
like
it
a
wouldn't.
live stream.
Max.
He's not going to
Max.
listen to this. He won't listen to this. I guarantee it. He'll
Okay.
listen to the first couple of minutes. He's going to be mad. He's going to shut it off.
Yeah.
Max, if you're listening right
starting
now,
to feel bad
and you
about
tell
it.
me you listen to this point, I'll give you $5. I'll give it to you.
It's a pretty good bet.
It's not a bet. It's just it's just to see if he listens, and he won't. Which is all right. I don't listen either. Over and over again.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that covers pretty much all of our notes. I had a long day. It was a fun open mic last night. And I'm tired, boss.
Can I throw in one more thing?
No.
All right.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. No, just one last thing about If These Woods Could Talk. On top of going to wxpr.org and looking under the podcast tab at the Community Podcast Project in order to listen to the show, give us a call at the library if you've got a story. We're looking for people who know stuff.
Oh, good tie-in. We didn't talk. We should. There's some cool people who live in the North Woods who probably got some cool stories to share. And this is the guy to get them down. Check it out in the format. It's very simple. It's very
Also open to adjustments.
Fun. It's fun. It's fun and cool. And if you have a story that you think should be shared and preserved, yes, absolutely. Get a hold of Matt at
Your
WXPR. The website has the contact information.
Or go to
library.
rhinelanderlibrary.org.
Wonderful.
Yeah, give us a call. I got a call a couple days ago from the nephew of TV Olsen, so we're going to be talking tomorrow, which is going to be a good story.
TV's got all the books.
Theodore
all
Victor
the books.
Olsen. Yeah, Gregory Peck movie.
Oh man, there's some cool folks. Have you yeah, no, well that's awesome. Yeah. There's some cool Rhinelander history.
There is.
Zach Hext in the game
Yep.
store downtown. That was the Book World, and before that was actually Rhinelander's first theater.
Oh yes.
That building.
Yep.
Apparently down in the basement you can still see the stage area.
Oh, cool.
And some cool stuff there. So there's a lot of cool little nooks and crannies and stories and things in town that
By the way, Zach, big supporter of the library. I wonder if he'd do anything about that.
Oh, you should talk to him. I mean, that's
Try talking to him.
absolutely, and maybe he's even done some more research on the building and whatnot. But Zach's a cool character. He's probably got some cool stories too.
Yeah, probably does.
For those who don't know, Zach was a founding drummer of Old Pine Road Band. Our very first lineup. It was
Zach.
me, him. I don't know if I think he was on the cajon. Oh no, he did stuff on the drum kit. Now that I think about it, the drum kit, and then I think moved to cajon. I can't remember, but when Old Pine Road Band very first started gigging, he was the drummer for the first year or two.
Huh?
And then he took over the Hex Theater, Stage Left Cafe, and then gigging. That's the way it goes. That's actually funny. Zach took over a business, had to step down from drumming.
Yeah.
Thor took over a business.
That's okay.
Literally, it's all of our drummers. They're like responsible business people. Scott LaRock has like a full-time like career that he's like.
Isn't that always the case? Like the Beatles had
What
3
the fuck?
drummers.
Why are the drummers with the ones with their like, you
Oh,
know,
my girlfriend wants me at home.
their
Yeah.
shit together? What the fuck?
Why?
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. But yeah, Zach's great and probably some cool history. But anybody
All
with
kinds
some
of
cool
stuff.
history, any cool things, check out the podcast, listen to it, be a part of it, and yeah. I want to say thank you to everybody for listening. I'm not even sure if the camera's still rolling. I'm praying to God. I see that we're still recording, so at least we'll have audio, and it looks like it's a good time. So thank you, everybody, for listening. You got Matt. Thank you for coming
Thanks
with
for
us
having
today.
me. This is
Thank you
cool.
so much.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. I hope. I don't know. I'm gonna go listen to it. Maybe it's bad. And that's the old Pine Ray. Shit. That is definitely the old Pine Way. Thanks for listening.
That's the
Bye.